The field. Every neighborhood has one. Grass, concrete, or dirt. The stage is the same. The rules, unwavering. And the goals, beautiful.
It goes in! Improbable scenes!
It's where the dream begins to achieve the ultimate victory.
The underdogs have prevailed once again!
One cup, open to all.
There is a celebration in Orlando.
Now, America's oldest soccer tournament is back.
Oh, it's incredible!
The field doesn't care if you're a pro or trying to be one. It only asks, how bad do you want it?
It's unbelievable!
The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
Welcome to Geodis Park in Nashville, Tennessee, alongside Manchester United legend Gary Bailey. I'm Joe Malfa, happy to have you with us tonight as we have Open Cup action between Nashville SC and San Antonio FC. Geodis Park, these fans are hoping for an advancement here for Nashville SC against last year's USL Championship title winners San Antonio FC, and Nashville made it all the way through the quarterfinals in this tournament last season, hoping for a further run this year.
It's a big test today because this San Antonio side, as you say, champions of the USL, just one division lower, plus they put out a fairly strong side. 5 changes, which hopefully we'll get to in a minute, but it's still a very strong side for Nashville. 9 changes. In fact, easier to tell you who remains from the LAFC match that they drew last time out. It's Alex Muil and Jack May are the only 2 to remain. A lot of the players who were on the bench have coming in, Schaffelberg, Zubac, Harkinson, etc., Taylor Washington, and then a couple like Elliot Panico just getting a rare opportunity to play. Just 5 changes for San Antonio. In comes a youngster, Roman Hull, but otherwise Zico Bailey's a regular, David Luera, Kamani Smith, Kai Koreniuk. So a tough match here tonight for Nashville.
And Nashville is hoping they can recapture some of that magic they had early on last year in this tournament. They went to extra time against Atlanta when they hosted. Ethan Zubac went ahead and scored the game winner in extra time. He's starting as the striker tonight for Nashville, who are in the yellow from right to left. San Antonio in the red from left to right. And we're underway from Geodis Park. Happy to have you with us tonight with Gary Bailey. I'm Joe Malfa. That's yes, ourselves still no. San Antonio last year managed one upset of an MLS team when they took down Austin before losing to Houston. A couple of matchups against other Texas teams in MLS. Nashville took on one USL Championship opponent, that being Louisville City FC. Here's David Loera. Important for a team like San Antonio to come on the road here and get an early positive start, gain their footing against a team like Nashville. How often in matches like this, Gary, do you see upsets bred out of an early goal by the roadside, the underdog in San Antonio?
Well, that can often happen, but I did one match last year rather, with Colorado Hailstorm from the third tier of football. They went to Real Salt Lake. Real Salt Lake made a whole bunch of changes. I thought it would be comfortable. In the end, they lost 1-0. It was a late goal. So, yes, sometimes it can be an early goal, but here comes pressure again already from San Antonio.
Zico Bailey enters the area, looks for the underlap from Camarnie Smith, but it's out for a goal kick.
I think the big challenge for Nashville, of course, is the number of changes. It's not like San Antonio haven't made changes. They've made 5, but 3 of those came onto the pitch against Phoenix Rising in the last match. Zico Bailey, Camarnie Smith, and David Luera. So they're used to fitting in and figuring things out. But for Nashville, with 9 changes, yes, 4 of them did come on as subs against LAFC. That means 5 new faces trying to fit in. That's a lot of changes, and it might take this team in yellow a little while just to figure each other out.
Schaffelberg gets around Holt. Schaffelberg end line, scoops it ahead, back post, and knocked out for a corner by Zico Bailey.
Nice early pressure there. Good run down that left-hand side. Decent ball in, and had the defense scrambling, and Zico Bailey doing what he thought was best, just get it away from danger.
Opportunity. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but we're back up and running here at Geodis Park in Nashville alongside Gary Bailey. I'm Joe Malva, happy to have you with us for the third round action between Nashville SC and San Antonio FC. It's out with Taylor Washington. Looking ahead. Taylor Washington, the 29-year-old, one of 4 players who migrated with Nashville SC from USL Championship to MLS. Some of the ties you have here in this game, a former USL Championship side against a current one, and it's blocked by Roman Holt.
When you mention Washington's name, you have to go back. Looking at the players on this pitch, the last time any player on this pitch scored was Washington and Schaffelberg against Montreal, and that was 7 matches ago. So they're missing key strikers. Well, missing, they've obviously rested Mukhtar, Pico, etc. The players who normally get them goals. So this is a great opportunity, as we said in the build-up, Ethan Zubak, for him to try and make a name for himself again, get another goal as he did in the Cup last year. But I'm just wondering where the goals are going to come from. Perhaps Washington and Schaffelberg will pop up again with goals.
And here it is, Schaffelberg looking to turn the corner on Shannon Gomez. Schaffelberg, back post! It's blocked out wide. Lamar Batista got in the way of it, and it's out for a corner.
That's some fantastic defending from Batista. It's a beautiful ball in from Schaffelberg as well. Just floats over the keeper to the back stick. Tempting for the striker to come in and head, and some good defending from Lamar Batista, who was absolutely brilliant last year in their championship year. Look how he goes to the back there, just gets his face and head in the way of that header. Brilliant.
Another corner to defend. The pressure starting here for Nashville. It's out for a goal kick. First couple of minutes, Gary, it was San Antonio, the aggressors. And all of a sudden, Nashville has taken complete control, and it's San Antonio on the heels.
And I'm sure that's what Gary Smith would have wanted. Would have said, be careful, this is a good side, San Antonio. And when we spoke to Gary, he talked about the great job Alan Marcina's done there and taking them to the championship last year. And I'm sure he's warned his players, you've got to get at them from the get-go. Get on top. If you get a goal, might just settle everybody down. As you were saying earlier, if it goes the other way and it's San Antonio who score first, then everybody starts to get a bit of a panic. It's cup football. You don't get a second chance at this. This is it. If you don't score the goals, then you're out, and nothing happens until the same time next year.
Nashville knows that all too well. They fell in the quarterfinal on penalties against the eventual champions, Orlando. Picked up by Anunga. Wide to Hackinson, and a late foul call by Sergei Demianchuk, our referee tonight. Free kick for San Antonio.
Yeah, he's just probably trying to play advantage, the referee. And no advantage accrued, so he calls them back. Got to be careful here because Nacho Barloni is a big striker up front for San Antonio. Good target man, Kamani Smith as well. So you would think that set pieces could be a way in which San Antonio could hurt Nashville.
Lofted ahead by Garcia. Flicked along here, chested down. Opportunity saved by Panico. Rebound saved again by Panico. Denying by Loney and Koreanyuk.
Good goalkeeping. That was a fantastic moment for San Antonio. As we spoke about the long ball and the flick on, it's Barloni who knocks it on. Koreanyuk who gets a shot there, and I'm just wondering, does he chip the goalkeeper? To be fair, the keeper makes a good save, and then Barloni follows up after flicking on the header. His shot saved as well, but that route one might be the way in which San Antonio can unlock the Nashville defense.
All the way back for Panico. Spent a couple of seasons in USL Championship on loan. Look out with Nashville. On loan to Austin and to Indy 11 each of the last 2 seasons.
You can see some high pressing there, and San Antonio best in USL for pressing. And in fact, Alan Marcina saying to us, I want to test our pressing against an MLS side. Well, you saw the pressure they put on Panico there. This could turn out to be a very, very tricky match, as we suggested at the beginning. There are some players on the bench that can come on for Nashville. I know this is sort of early to be talking about substitutes, but should they be in trouble, Fafapico, Teal Bunbury, Shaq Moore, Dan Lovitz on the bench and available to Gary Smith. But obviously they don't want to be in that situation to begin with.
Very interesting approach to this from Alan Marcina. Looks at it as almost a no-lose situation. Either they come here Welcome back to Geodis Park alongside Gary Bailey. I'm Joe Malva. Happy to have you with us, and we apologize for the glitches early on here. Chance for San Antonio is rocketed wide. In the early going, we've seen these teams trade a couple of barbs. 2 shots, 2 on target for San Antonio. 3 shots, none on target for Nashville, with a couple of promising opportunities offensively through a quarter of an hour.
And just before the break, we were talking about the pressing from San Antonio, where you can see up front Bailoni and Koreniuk are quite high. They're sort of going to force either a long ball or, yep, they've forced a long ball. So difficult to play through this San Antonio side. But it seems that Nashville have gone with a 3-4-3. With a 3-4-3, and they have gone with Wyke, Mayer, and Bauer at the back, and Wheel and Washington as the wingbacks, and Anunga and Gregush as their holding midfielders. So we see how the 3-4-3 lines up against San Antonio.
Roman Holt's already been in the thick of things a couple of times. Big 6'5" center back, 18 years of age for San Antonio. Only his 2nd appearance with the first team. The other came in their opening match of this tournament. Cleared away from San Antonio. And all the way back for Panico.
Not so far so good for San Antonio. They have certainly threatened, and no doubt Nashville will be aware this is going to be a tough match. Interesting, chatting to Alan Marcina, you can see at the bottom of your screen there, the coach for San Antonio in the black outfit. He says that the pressure is all on Nashville. He said people don't expect us to win. We keep our same mindset. We'll not change. We will high press. We'll put them under as much pressure as we can. And they're quite a physical side. We saw them against Phoenix Rising last match out, and that got very chippy. They've got some big boys in that San Antonio outfit, and they're not afraid to get stuck in.
Alan Marcina's approach to this game, really a no-lose situation. Yes, they'd obviously love to advance, but all the pressure is on Nashville as the higher division side, and he looks at it as a worst-case scenario. It's going to help us in our regular season campaign because Nashville will potentially expose us where our press needs some work. So either way, it's a lesson to be learned, or they get through in the Open Cup.
Good approach. And I'm sure the players are super excited. I mean, you come to Geodis Park, it's, you know, there's people watching, and it's just a chance for you to show what you can do. Chance for people to see you on television in a cup match. It's a chance for MLS players and coaches to see what you can do. And so often when we speak to USL coaches, they say, hey, we don't mind if players move up. That's part of the deal here. You come along, we put you in the shop window, and we hope you become better players and move up the ladder to the MLS or even higher.
This is one of the best stadiums in all of MLS. Just opened last year. They just had over 30,000 fans in this building over the weekend when they welcomed the reigning MLS Cup champions, LAFC. Well read by Farr. Blasted ahead.
And talking of that LAFC match, Gary Smith saying that he was quite happy, more happy than disappointed, even though they went 1-0 up. He said they had some good possession, nice opportunities. Said some challenges came in the second period when they brought fresh players on, but overall he was happy with the team. Looked like a handball there from what we could see.
Lamar Batista off the right hand. Question was it intentional? Almost looked like he stuck it out to stop the attack. Free kick on the way for Nashville. From the free kick, it's blocked by the wall, and Jordan Farr kept it out. Now it's pushed wide.
What a save that is from Jordan Farr. No wonder he is the reigning USL goalkeeper of the year. Have a look. This ball comes in, it gets knocked loose. There's a shot from there. He has to go down with his left and use a lot of power to just pull it out from going inside the goal. Brilliant save from Jordan Farr. It's not the first time he's done that. There is a player that you would think would and could go higher in the divisions. That man there is the person, 28 years of age, perfect age for a goalkeeper.
He was so close to possibly hanging the cleats up in the last couple of years. He's a young father. He's looking at what the next move might be in his career. He was with Indy 11. All of a sudden, phone rings. His GM for Indy 11 at their end-of-year celebration season ago, pardon me, 2 seasons ago now, comes in, says there's an emergency situation in San Antonio. Through this emergency loan rule, you're going over there, you're playing their playoff game. This is while he's at his end-of-the-year party with Indy 11. Comes in, plays their playoff game, gets extended for 2022. Lo and behold, goalkeeper of the year gets a contract extension while he was starting to mold, hanging it up or not. And now here he is, top goalkeeper in USL Championship.
There's that high ball into the box.
Koreniuk flashes it wide. Bailoni was screaming for the pass back. Open, top of the 6.
They've had joy there already, haven't they? That high ball into the box is causing Nashville some problems. Talking of problems, David Luera has gone down in the middle of the pitch. And have a look here. They win the header. Koreniuk, as you quite rightly say, just not able to pull it back to Bailoni, who was free and had space in the box and would have finished that off. But that's a problem for Gary Smith. If they keep winning those headers, and that's going to be something that San Antonio will do more and more often. If they're getting joy from it, then why not keep doing it?
The stadium is nowhere near full tonight, but you could still hear the noise being made by the supporters. And Gary Smith alluded to that a bit when we had a chance to chat with him. He said, doesn't matter what the official number is in this building, come Wednesday night, it's going to sound like it's darn near full because of the fervent support of this fan base. He's spot on.
Okay, Nashville got to be careful about giving away these set pieces now. There's been a few of them in this first half, and every time you do that, the big boys move into the box. You would think there's a good likelihood that it'll be floated right into the mix, and there's Lamar Batista going up as well. Roman Holt, both of them around the 6'4" and above mark. So certainly going to test the Nashville defense.
Camarni Smith, David Loera standing over it. It is Camarni Smith delivering. And cleared away by Jack Mayer, one of the 2 players who did play on the weekend against LAFC for this Nashville outfit. Sent ahead to Schaffelberg. He's got the run far side. All the way down to Washington. Options on the bench for San Antonio, who you would typically see in their starting 11 in a league match. And Alan Marcina was very honest about the situation. They have a shallow roster right now. They've endured some injuries. They keep a smaller roster beginning of the year as is so that they can add as the season goes along. They're available on the bench. If this game is close going into the second half, that's when you could see. You mentioned some of the subs on the bench for Nashville. San Antonio have those difference makers as well. As this game gets older and older, if it is still knotted up.
One of those is Christian Pirano. Won the penalty and took it in the 1-1 draw against Phoenix Rising last time out. You've got Carter Manley coming back from injury, very experienced player. Jorge Hernandez, a recent signing. Connor Maloney, who really is their driving force. And you put him in the team and he adds a whole bunch of energy. So your point very valid. If they need to, San Antonio, they can certainly bring on some firepower as well.
And the crown jewel of that bench, Sam Adeniran, came on loan last year with the club, had 12 goals in their run to the trophy, was owned by Seattle Sounders at the time, loaned to San Antonio. Then this year in the expansion draft, he was picked up by St. Louis City. Hasn't quite cracked the lineup yet for St. Louis, so just this week came back on loan, season-long loan for San Antonio, and he is available again tonight off the bench.
Another big, powerful player, and that seems to be the feature of this San Antonio side going forward.
Starting to reach the point of the night where some earlier games are wrapping up and some later games are about to kick off. Only two teams so far advancing through from the evening. FC Cincinnati of MLS took down Louisville City of USL Championship by a score of 1-0. Loudoun United of USL took down Flower City Union of Nice of 5-0. Right now, Atlanta United up 1-0 on Memphis 901 with 20 minutes to go. Scoreless in the late stages between Columbus Crew and Indy 11. Miami FC is a result that sticks out, up 1-0 at the moment over Inter Miami CF in the second edition of the Miami Classico. Matches in all tonight. As we round now the third round of the 2023 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
And there's been a few shocks already. San Jose Earthquake going out last night to Monterey Bay. So I think Nashville will be very well aware of the dangers that the champions of the USL San Antonio pose. Look at those red shirts, a number of them all packed tightly in that corner. That high press again from San Antonio. Something that Nashville will be used to in the MLS, of course, but they do it really well, San Antonio.
Garcia along to Batista. Batista signed back in March on what was initially a 25-day contract. He just needed a home. He was with Rochester of MLS Next Pro, but they announced they would not continue operations about a week before the season. San Antonio scooped him up, added him in, and he's been a starter ever since. Fans dive deeper into the thrills and drama of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Join the conversation on Twitter and Instagram at Open Cup and on Facebook at Official Open Cup.
Just going back to that double save from Panico, how important that was. In fact, both goalkeepers have been called into action. Jordan Farr with an incredible left-handed save as well. So both teams have had a little chance and a glimpse at potentially scoring the opening goal. But for Panico, it's a great way to impress your coach and put your hand up for future games.
Gary Smith was prepared for a battle in the first half an hour. Said we have to weather the storm of San Antonio, roll up the sleeves, and just get down and dirty. We know how they play. They're a very physical team. A lot of intentional fouling that they use to their strategic advantage in the attacking half in their press. But he felt, Gary Smith, that over time, if they weather that early storm, Nashville's quality would shine through, and it'd be too much for San Antonio to handle. Lawrence White slips it through. Anunga to Washington. Taylor Washington wins a corner.
Big boys coming up for Nashville. Doesn't matter how you win cup games, just got to get through to the next round. All heard of the stories of teams who have looked good and then concede late and get knocked out. Set pieces are vital in games like this.
Whipped in, headed away by Batista, settled by Washington. Pass to nobody in particular by Loney, looking to lead the charge on the counter now. Only red jersey with him is Zico Bailey. Now he waits for some support. It's given right back. Atkinson feeds it wide for Muil. Alex Muil right into the back of Lamar Batista. Schaffelberg.
Good turnover ball from Muil, just around the halfway line as Bailoni was making some progress, had nicked it off his toes, started the counter attack. That's where you think the MLS side have the ability. If San Antonio start throwing bodies forward, they can counter attack into those spaces with good effect.
Another corner. Going 5 shots for San Antonio, 2 on target, 7 for Nashville, 1 on target. Possession 60-40 in Nashville's favor through a half an hour. Sort of what we expected in terms of the possession, but San Antonio finding the opportunity still on the counter through their press. Now from the corner, sent away again by Fabian Garcia. Schaffelberg, there's one out. Marty Smith. Korenyuk, former teammate of Ethan Zubak, the opposing striker tonight. Korenyuk sees part for him right up the middle. Closing down at the end, Anunga to win it.
Okay, just look at the way they attack San Antonio. Very direct, they come at you, they don't spend time unnecessarily playing around the middle. If they can see that they've got a chance to attack, they do that. And Kai Korenyuk, they're just running at the defense, looking for openings, looking for a pass to Bailoni. It didn't work out this time. But again, a warning to the Nashville defense. This team will not sit around and wait.
Change was just made for San Antonio. Into the match is Connor Maloney.
He's always an inspiration, Connor Maloney. Scores a lot of good goals, but a leader from the defense as well.
Big yellow card for Kamani Smith. Continued to play after the whistle had been blown. The offside flag came up.
It's such a silly yellow. If it is for that reason, which it seems to be, it's a silly yellow for Kamani Smith, because how many times have we seen in matches that the second yellow, you just mistime a tackle, referee deems it to be worthy, and suddenly you're off the pitch. Don't get the first yellow unnecessarily. Kicking the ball away, that's... You should know better, if that is the reason why it was given.
Who came off for Connor Maloney. And this is where you see the versatility of a player like Maloney. Can play literally anywhere Alan Marcina asks of him. Does not back down from the challenge. Usually a wingback, either left or right. He's listed at 5'7". It's maybe generous for the program only. But he slots in now at right center back and not afraid of a challenge like that. 27-year-old has some time in MLS with Columbus Crew. That was one area where Gary Smith was quick to point things out. The San Antonio side is littered with MLS talent and experience from past years. Just because it is a USL Championship side doesn't mean it is to be taken lightly. Here's Kamani Smith looking goalward. Talk about a player with MLS experience. 17 appearances last year for DC United. That one saved easily by Panico.
Connor Maloney also, route one, just get it up. And there's the shot on target. Comfortable, very comfortable for Panico to make the save. But on Connor Maloney, in the previous round, they played a lot of the youth team players in the cup, but he was still there. He was in the locker room with them. He was on the side of the pitch. He is the driving force of this team. And although he slots in that joint centre-back position, he will push forward. He will get shots on target. And he will make sure those around him perform. Such a good player. And that's just taken San Antonio up another level of ability. So this is, again, just give a warning to Nashville fans. If you're expecting a nice, easy match tonight, I just don't think it's going to be that. I'll be very surprised if Nashville do win this comfortably. I think this is going to go right down to the wire.
Hope everything's all right health-wise with Roman Holt, the young teenager who was getting the start tonight. You almost wonder if it was maybe Alan Marcina just getting him out of harm's way. There were a couple of moments that we picked up in the first half an hour where the captain, Fabian Garcia, had to sort of nudge Holt to get into the right position where he almost didn't seem sure of himself. You wonder if it's Alan Marcina just getting a young kid out of harm's way to not diminish his confidence. Hope that's the case more so than any injury in the early going. If we have any word passed to us, we'll pass it to you. Garcia for Loera. Tico Bailey tried to flick it on to Loera. Marty Smith lost his footing. One back by San Antonio through this press. Loera. Dangerously dribbling backward here, Nashville. Smith wins it. Koreniuk barreling through, and Panico saves the day, but a late free kick call by Demjanjuk. Wanted to see if advantage played out, never did. Free kick edge of the area for San Antonio.
Well, if you want a good example of the high press with a bit of physicality, that was it. The tackle's there. That one, borderline foul, but referee doesn't give it. That's a foul there. Keeps on going, Kai Koreniuk, and in the end, Panico out and pounces on the ball. But definitely a foul on the edge of the box. And when they high press you, they don't just do it by trying to take the football off your toe. They get stuck in, they get shoulders in, and they put you under some serious physical pressure. Now they've got a free kick in a really good position.
Nacho Bailoni, the 29-year-old from Argentina. 6 goals last season for the USL Championship title winners. This is his Open Cup debut, and spent 2020 with San Antonio. After the first 7 years of his career were in Argentina. Brief hiatus saw him to Croatia for a year, back to San Antonio last season, and remained through this season with a longer-term contract. Stands over the free kick on his left foot. Elliot Panico sets up his wall. 5 standing, 1 laying down. Bailoni right into that wall. Serve back up toward Batista. Now Loera. David Loera to the end line. Serves it. Flicked on. Unable to steer it goalward was Jacori Hayes. And a corner won by San Antonio. Good sustained attack here.
Absolutely. And each time whipping the ball into the box. Jacori Hayes getting on the end of that one and just couldn't quite find the target, but that's what they do. David Loera doing really well. This is a free kick, gets blocked, but Kamani Smith, look how quick. Gets it there, immediately looking to try and recycle it back, gets whipped back in again. Up goes Batista. David Loera, he's looking to see how he can get it back in the box. Has a little run, waits for contact that doesn't come, gets the ball back. It's just non-stop pressure, but it's always with balls whipped into the box.
Corner dealt with by Nashville. Schaffelberg, pardon me, charging ahead. On the back end, Lawrence White able to win the throw for Nashville. White hasn't seen an appearance until now with the first team. Been playing with Huntsville City, their MLS Next Pro affiliate. Ended up there because of his connection with Jack Collison, the Huntsville coach. Had been the Atlanta United 2 head coach, where Lawrence White was for a bit. As the flag comes up on Bailoni. That's before White went over to Tampa Bay Rowdies for a couple of seasons. Stood out there with Neil Collins. And that's where the connection also maybe comes for Nashville. And chatting with Gary Smith about the eye he still keeps toward USL Championship, having coached in that league himself. So the couple of teams that he keeps tabs on are mainly those that he has relationships with the head coach, and he and Neil Collins of Tampa Bay are really good friends. That's where White comes from. Those connections paying off for Harry Smith. Just 5 minutes to play here in half number one. Deadlocked at 0. Batista clears it backwards here. And it's out for a goal kick. Got lucky that Luke Hackinson couldn't do anything with it. Change the call here. That it was already out before Hackinson tried to save it. So a corner now for Nashville. Served up by Gregish. Saved by Jordan Farr, out for a corner.
Having to defend really well at the moment, San Antonio, but they can do that. Done it all last year when they went on to be champions. And they know how to dig in.
Again from the corner. It's loose in front, and Batista clears.
That was Bailoni coming back, doing a defending job. Again, they have so many players who are 6 foot plus. Well, in this case, plus, because a lot of them are all 6'5", 6'6". That's why they're a threat up front. They have 3 big strikers: Kamani Smith, Nacho Bailoni, and Kai Koreniuk, so they can each take a turn in the center and they can guard wide and swing the ball in.
Zubac feeds wide for Schaffelberg, and Farr is there. At some point, you're just tall. Doesn't matter if you're 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". At some point, you're just tall, and you can label it as such. That's easy to say coming from somebody who says he's 5'6" on a good day, but for somebody up there in the clouds like yourself, Gary Bailey, I guess it does make a little bit of a difference.
You know where it makes a big difference is when you have more than 3 or 4, because most teams have, you know, big central defenders, maybe 1 big attacker. But with San Antonio, they've got 6 or 7. And all of a sudden, you try and mark those at set pieces. You put your 3 or 4 big guys against their 3 or 4. Then there's a couple left over. Those are the ones who can cause the damage. So, but yes, Joe, we wouldn't put you to mark anybody.
No,
if
I'd
put you there for the counter attack.
What did you put in the program back in the day for Manchester United? 6'3"? Is that your official listing?
6'2".
6'2", okay. Jordan Farr sends it long. Interesting, some of the insights we've heard over the last year from Jordan Farr, Alan Marcina, and the way this San Antonio team likes to play forward off of a punt or a goal kick. It's just those diagonal balls up toward the big target men, and it is as specific as which way the wind is blowing in pregame warm-ups, dictating whether those punts go right or left based on the judgment of Jordan Farr.
I've actually got a lot of respect for the way Alan Marcina sets up his team. I think playing the long ball can really work well in so many situations.
for another Nashville corner. Seventh corner of the match now for Nashville. From Gregers. Out to Schaffelberg, deflected wide. Jordan Farr was worried about it. Best he could do was dive and hope it went wide off the deflection at the last moment.
Well, they all count whether it's deflected or not, and you're right, certainly Jordan Farr was scrambling to reposition himself. Ball comes in, gets cleared there. I think it was by Loney. The shot comes and gets a deflection of Zico Bailey, and the goalkeeper just having to readjust. He's looking through bodies as well. Not always easy to see the ball.
Official word on stoppage time, but an eighth quarter now of the first half for Nashville. Served in, center of the box, headed away by Batista. Another chance here. The secondary ball. Anunga comes crashing through. Korenyuk laid out on the playing surface. And the whistle to call the foul came at the same time as the halftime whistle. So that'll take us into our break. Physical end of the first half. It was a physical first half. It's scoreless through 45.
Yeah, there's been chances at both ends. There's been good saves by both keepers. Jordan Farr with a fantastic save to his left earlier on, and a double save from Panico. So both teams will take in a fair amount of confidence, but certainly San Antonio have proven to Nashville fans watching that this is going to be a big cup match and a tough one for the home side to get through. But they do have some big ammunition on the bench, do Nashville.
San Antonio did what they set out to do. They came here on the road to Geodis Park, got it to halftime scoreless. Now, how will these teams readjust when they come out of the locker room? Still around action here in the 2023 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. More to come from Nashville. Scoreless at the break between Nashville SC and San Antonio FC here in the third round of the 2023 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Happy to have you with us tonight. With Gary Bailey, I'm Joe Malfa. We'll take a look now at highlights from half number one as the players are starting to trickle out to begin half number two. It finished scoreless, but there were opportunities mixed in there for both of these teams.
Yeah, opportunities, some good saves, some good defending. In fact, it's a Batista who defends really well. Shuffleberg down this left-hand side. He's going to just get a bit of a gap to beat Shannon Gomez and get the ball to the far post. And as the header comes in, it hits Batista in the face, and he clears that one. And then the long ball that caused so many problems, flick on from Bailoni, and then Koreniak with the first one, Bailoni with the second. Double save from Elliot Panico. Now probably the best chance for the visiting team. And that's a ball knocked up by Maloney. Kamani Smith, but doesn't really connect with that one. That's a comfortable one for the keeper. But this high press causing problems. Kamani Smith brought down, and Kai Koreniak fighting for it, but it gets pulled back for the free kick, and which Bailoni took and just missed. And then the ball just bouncing around here. A lot of corners for the home side, and they caused a few problems here and there. This shot coming in deflected, and Jordan Foss scrambling across to make sure that that shot didn't get in the back of the net. So chances for both teams, and it actually shows that more shots on target for San Antonio, but I do think there were a couple of close ones for Nashville that don't go down as shots on target, but they go down perhaps as chances.
If you would have told Alan Marcina and San Antonio that this is how things would look after 45 minutes, I think they might have signed up for it, Gary. They've got a couple of shots on target, opportunities on Panico, still scoreless. You never know in a game like this in the second half, something breaks your way, just like it nearly did on that opportunity when Panico made the double save. And if you're Nashville, at what point, if you're Gary Smith, do you dip into the bench? Do you look for some of those big guns on your bench, a Teal Bunbury perhaps, to come in and get you that goal that pushes you over the edge?
Well, it's definitely going to come on at some time, you would think, because it's unlikely to be a comfortable win. And even if you're 1-0 up, Nashville, you're going to want to bring on play. In fact, already making some subs as we speak.
Right out of the gates here.
Pico's one of them has come on. Fafa Pico was about to mention him along with Bunbury as two good options for them.
Jack Mayer leaves for Daniel Lovitz. Kai Koreniak leaves on the San Antonio side with Christian Pirano coming in.
That's trouble, because Christian Pirano is a real handful, much smaller and shorter. But he feeds the men, he causes problems, and he won the penalty and took it against Phoenix Rising in the last match. So a slightly different threat, not the big tall threat, but the little quick feet threat for Nashville.
Alex Murillo, who gave way for Fafa Pico. Nashville from left to right in the yellow, San Antonio right to left in the red, and we're underway here in half number two. Scoreless still. Will we play 45 more? Will we play 75 more? Will we have penalties beyond that? It will all unfold before our eyes here at Geodis Park in Nashville. Here's Fafa Pico looking to make an impact right away. Rolls it ahead for Zubak. Fafa Pico is an excellent winger for this Nashville team. Over the last 2 seasons in Major League Soccer, he is 7th among wingers in combined goals and assists. 18 goals, 8 assists. Of all wingers in MLS the last 2 seasons, only 6 have accounted for more goals than Fafa Pico.
Well, clearly Gary Smith feeling that there's some issues with his team, that they're not quite getting the strikes on target that they want to. And he does have Bunbury, who you would think will come on later in the game, but he's made these subs at half time, so it just shows that the coach is concerned. Both have 2 subs now, and Christian Pirano is, as mentioned, a different type of handful for Nashville to deal with. There he is, just challenging for the ball. So it's all set up because it's very, very even. It's hard to choose between them. They both had chances first half.
Gregish looking ahead for Schaffelberg. Good shoulder put in by Garcia. Schaffelberg might have had the wind knocked out of him the way the contact was made. And is a big, powerful center back in Garcia that you don't want to be running into.
That's part of the game. Gary Smith knew it was going to be physical. The players knew it. He's got to take those knocks, get up and get on with it. And that's a part of the game that might be a challenge for Nashville. Got to deal with this physicality. They've got to win more balls in the air. In the first half, a lot of chances coming, but a few chances coming for San Antonio. Almost all of them through balls knocked high into the box.
And we've seen from this Nashville team pretty much exactly what Gary Smith said we would see. And that's a team that so far in the early going has it maybe 2/3 of the way figured out. They're good in the defensive third. They're comfortable in the middle third. They haven't quite figured things out yet in the attacking third of the field, whether it's just execution, whether it's starting to combine with some of the new faces. Just hasn't been there in the attacking third. They were hoping tonight might be a night to get that on the right track, and so far that hasn't been the case yet. But here's Pico going on Maloney.
Well, to your point, I mean, they might not have scored a lot, only 8 in the season so far in their 9 games. They've only conceded 5, the best in the entire MLS East and West. So defensively very good, but they need more goals, and they need them here today as well.
The last thing you want if you're an MLS side is it's played over the top here, over everybody, is to send this to extra time, playing needless minutes if you're Nashville. Higher division side, you want to take care of business in the 90, get out of Dodge and move on to the next. San Antonio not making it easy, and that's out for a goal kick. Batista beaten to the punch. Don't see him lose in the air all that often.
You don't. I think that was Ethan Zubak who got in front of him, and you're quite right. Batista has just been an awesome defender for San Antonio throughout last season, the championship season, but just maybe waiting a little bit too long there. And Zubak in front of him. It was too tight an angle, you think, to have got it over Jordan Farr, but it just shows that he can be a threat if he gets service.
Shannon Gomez looking long, flicked on by Loney. Here's the quickness of Pirano in the midfield. Gets it out to Bailey, taken down, free kick. This might be Christian Pirano territory. In the first half, we didn't see him on it because he wasn't out there. Belonged to Bailey, but this should be Christian Pirano.
Zico Bailey doing well there. Bodies into the box again. Not shy to attack. San Antonio certainly haven't come here to Jodas Park and park the bus, so to speak. They've had a real go, and they're continuing to have a go. And this again is a great position for them.
Pirano got the ball, placed it initially, and then gave way for Garcia. Fabian Garcia looks keen to strike it. Captain steps up. 28-year-old from France. He's played every minute of the regular season so far in 2023 for San Antonio. Bailey is there as well. It's Garcia right into the wall. Second time they've had a free kick as a team from nearly that identical spot. Just at opposite ends of the field. Second time they played it right into the wall.
There is Gary Smith, and just something to add to the pressure. They haven't won in their last 3. They've only won 1 of the last 6. So after a good start, it's sort of beginning to fade a little bit, and all coaches know that if the run continues, then confidence goes down and pressure builds. So they won't want a 4th match without a win. And again, for confidence and for scoring confidence as well as team confidence, they need a good win here today. That's what he asked for. Hasn't happened yet. It could still.
Loera. Bailey. And line. Flashed in front. Panico secures it.
Very solid game so far, Elliot Panico. Just a rare chance to show what he can do. Fantastic double save in the first half. He's come for a few crosses, dealt with them. And so far, so good. He's got the clean sheet.
Here's Gomez. You're starting to see that quality for San Antonio displaying itself that Gary Smith alluded to. Said we can't take this team lightly because they have so much MLS experience. Whether guys who were initially signed to MLS or actually played in the league. Shannon Gomez has been active down the right side. Another one of those started with NYCFC. We're moving on to Sacramento and then San Antonio and USL. And a free kick again on the way for San Antonio.
I think to your point, I think 8 or 9 of the players from San Antonio do have some MLS experience. And it hurts when you get dropped down a division. They say you're not good enough. And every player who's been through that wants to bounce back and show everyone in MLS that yes, they are good enough. And they deserve to be back at the top level.
7 of the 11 in their starting 11 tonight had MLS ties. Among the others who didn't, you have Fabien Garcia, who played in the 2nd division of France.
Yes.
Ignacio Bailoni, who played in the top tiers of Argentina. It's Bailoni standing over this one, wraps it around the wall, but Panico is there. Curious that San Antonio hasn't looked to serve one of these free kicks in as a cross. You mentioned in the first half the height advantage they have. So many of those guys out there, especially on that back line. Seems like it would lend itself naturally to a service.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're far more dangerous when they do that. And those free kicks, well, I think the free kicks on the edge of the box are worth the dipper goals. But as soon as you come further away, that shot there from, what, 30 yards plus, it's unlikely to beat a decent keeper like Elliot Panico. You'd rather just knock it up in the air for one of the big boys.
Here's Kamari Smith. End line, corner coming. First few minutes of this second half have been all San Antonio. Out of the locker room, whatever Alan Marcina said, it's worked out.
Well, the fans are still enjoying themselves. They're still remaining positive. And it's always embarrassing to be knocked out by lower division teams in the Cup, and no doubt San Jose Earthquakes, one of those teams who today are just reflecting on that.
Loera to the back post. Panico soars through the air to meet it before it gets to Lamar Batista. Although coming off of last year, when Sacramento Republic making it all the way to the final, you'd think MLS teams would start taking USL teams less and less lightly than they have in past years.
I think it's a difficult problem for MLS teams, is they have to give their fringe players a game once in a while, and they don't want to do it often during the regular season. So a cup match is the perfect opportunity. Virtually all of them do it. I think there's very few MLS teams that put out a full-strength team, as we just see that free kick given again. But the thinking is that the players who are coming in are still very good players. They're still players who should, on their day, be able to defeat a USL team or a USL 1 team. The problem isn't the quality of players to me. It's when you make a lot of changes. It's the knitting together. It's the understanding. 9 changes. There's a lot of changes for Nashville from the team that played against LAFC. And I think therein lies the biggest problem.
Atkinson. Fafa Pico, he goes down. Garcia is there for the challenge and wins the throw. To your point about the fringe players, Alan Marcina said whether it's the starters for Nashville or their fringe players, even if it's the 17th, 18th, and 19th guys on their roster, those are still players on an MLS roster. They're up in this league for a reason rather than in USL Championship or somewhere else. So he said we have to treat them with the utmost respect, even if it is the fringe players. But Gary, you've seen both of these leagues over the last few years. It's getting to a point now where the fringe players of MLS and the top-end players of USL is almost blurred together.
Yeah, isn't much of a gap between them. But again, this is a team, San Antonio, that even with the changes, 3 of them came onto the pitch against Phoenix Rising. So they don't have a lot of shifting around and figuring out to do. But for Nashville, I think it's a lot more of who's playing alongside me. I'm not quite used to them. They haven't played many games together. I think it's that team cohesion that maybe is more difficult to overcome when you make this number of changes.
Lamar Batista drew the foul. Only player on a yellow card from the first half is Kamani Smith.
And a silly yellow that was. I'm still hoping he doesn't get to regret it. See, even there, you come in with a late tackle, Kamani Smith, it's a second yellow and you're off. Oh, just wonder if it starts getting a little bit chippy now as the match moves on. Both sets of players realize that one goal could settle this game and tempers will start to flare.
Hayes. Bailey. Zico Bailey! Saved by Panico! That thing dipped and swerved and knuckled and almost beat the keeper. It's out for a corner. San Antonio didn't miss a lead by much.
It's a great strike from Zico Bailey, but what happens is the keeper goes one way, Elliot Panico, and then as the ball turns, he's got to come back the other. In the end, he really has to stretch. Makes a fantastic save. And it could have gone anywhere. Just managed to push it away from goal. So well done, the keeper.
That thing moved like a frisbee. Didn't have much spin on it. Took a hard left turn at the penalty spot, basically. Corner taken short to Pirano. Christian Pirano. San Antonio readying another change now. It's Sam Adeniran who's pulled on the jersey. Just rejoined this week for San Antonio. Last year in their run to the USL Championship crown, had 12 goals in 23 appearances. Belongs to St. Louis City of MLS, and previously belonged to Seattle Sounders. Loaned last year to San Antonio. Taken by St. Louis from Seattle in the expansion draft this year. And as of a couple of days ago, loaned back to San Antonio and right back on the field. Not much of an integration period needed for him. It's just welcome back after a couple of months away.
Exactly. And another big man up front. You lose a midfielder. No doubt they'll probably say to Pirano, drop back a little bit deeper. Kamani Smith might also have to come a touch deeper, but again, you're back to three big units up front and a clever little Pirano, Christian Pirano around them. They are on the offensive in San Antonio. I think they smell blood in the water, and they feel if they have a go at this Nashville defense, they're going to get some joy. Obviously, Nashville need to take advantage of some of the more gaps left at the back by being more offensive. They haven't been able to do that often enough. They did early on. Shufflberg got a couple of really good runs down the left, but after the first 20 minutes, Nashville have threatened less and less. And it don't seem to be a problem. Maybe that's why Alan Marcina feels he can bring on an extra striker.
Here's Adeniran, first touches on the ball, holds up the play so well. Had a chance throughout the season last year to pick Alan Marcina's brain about Sam Adeniran, and you look at him, his size, his strength, you see a striker who is going to be good at holding up the play, but he's not a one-trick pony in that regard. He's really good running in behind, terrific strike, great in the air. He's a complete striker, more than just a hold-up player, although he's very good at that as well as allowing his strike partners to run off of him. Batista comes over and commits the foul. The yellow card for Lamar Batista.
I'd like to see that again. It looked like he got the ball, and now he's having a few words with too many with the referee. He's got to be careful. Got the yellow. You don't want a second yellow straight away, but I'd like to see it again. Again, referees don't get the chance to have a replay like we can, perhaps. And in real time, I didn't think it was. Let's have a look. Well, I think he wins part of the ball. Does he get the player as well? Maybe that's what the referee's saying. You can win the ball, but then you can't take out the player.
San Antonio brought in a dinner in. Nashville's getting ready to counter. The striker of their own, Teal Bunbury, has pulled on the shirt. And they will make that change now before the set piece is taken. Off comes Schaffelberg. In comes Bunbury. And with him, all 69 of his career MLS goals, all 346 of his MLS appearances. That's 7th among active outfield players. Is he the difference perhaps tonight? The 33-year-old from Lake Pryor, Minnesota, has been with this Nashville team since 2022. Gregish, his free kick, unable to clear the first man, Zico Bailey. It's out for a throw in right next to the corner flag.
It wasn't the best of free kicks, was it? You just brought on a big striker and you were saying how effective he is, and you don't get the ball right in there into the mix. It gets cut out at the near post, so to speak. So they need quality service in for these strikers, Nashville.
Bunbury flicked on the throw into the hands of Farr. He plays it out to a Dinnerin. Is he going to get there ahead of Lovitz? No. Good center back for Nashville, able to steer it clear. So much experience throughout this Nashville roster. Some of it that we don't even see dressed tonight. The likes of Dax McCarty, Kenny Mukhtar, even a player like Lovitz coming in off the bench. Over 200 Major League Soccer appearances. Veteran-laden team.
Of course, if there's one player they would love to have, it would be Kenny Mukhtar. What an incredible player is, and scored the last couple of games and some fantastic strikes. Just absolutely brilliant. Of course, the MVP at the moment, the reigning MVP for the MLS.
And Golden Boot winner. Did it all last year.
He did.
2 straight years that he led MLS in goal contributions. That's goals and assists combined.
That's the thing, is you're so reliant on one great player at this level that take him out, and then you're asking questions of the others. Can you step up? Can you impact the game the way Kenny Mukhtar does? So far, not yet.
Get it away by Garcia after the long throw. Rattling around a bit. Played back out wide, fed back in front. It falls for Pico, couldn't settle it. And Bailey gets it clear. A better first touch from Fafa Pico. And it might be a 1-0 Nashville lead.
100% correct. You've got to kill that ball instantly and try and get a volley off. And his first touch, maybe he was surprised that the player in front of him missed it. Good battling going on there by Nashville. Played out wide, whipped in. And as it comes to him there, first touch very, very poor. If he kills that spot on, then he has a chance to get a shot on target.
Atkinson, past Zico Bailey, back post over the head of Zubak. Could he be the hero again tonight? Zubak scored their extra time winner against Atlanta in the first round they played last year. Here in the Open Cup, they joined in the round of 32. Had a bye in the 3rd round. Back in toward Bunbury. He sends it up into the clouds. Finally comes down for Hackinson. Now Anunga. Ever since Bunbury came on just a few moments ago, everything's been pushed up now. They're trying to find his head on long throws, on clips over the top from out wide. Whole dynamic change once Bunbury went atop the line.
Well, he's a good target man. They haven't had anybody to aim for. They've been trying to play through the lines, trying to play good football. But in a cup match, as we were saying, if you have to go route one sometimes, why not? And a good example today, watching Manchester City against Arsenal, they play route one, and the result was just phenomenal. They absolutely destroyed Arsenal by playing to the big guy up front. Only some player, to be fair. But, you know, nothing wrong with playing the direct route and getting a result from it.
I don't know if Erling Haaland can get on a flight to Nashville quick enough for you. Toronto has a Dinnerin in support, plays the Dinnerin. First touch took it out of his feet. Now it's Zico Bailey. Bailey, a hopeful ball ahead, and Panico smothers it. Teal Bunbury has been a fan favorite for Nashville in their early existence coming into the league in 2020. He joined them last year. Such a terrific person off the field as well. And the time he spent with New England Revolution, 7 years with that organization. He was twice their Humanitarian of the Year. And just last November, in accordance with Nashville's outreach program, fed 400 families at Thanksgiving time. So Teal Bunbury has just endeared himself to every community he's been a part of. He's had impacts on the field as well. Just a terrific MLS lifer who's in the league now over a decade. And here he is on the ball. Slips through 3 defenders. Bunbury lays it off for Gregish. Washington just took his eye off of it. And there goes the attack.
Totally different game now that, as you say, now that Bunbury's on. There's a sense of optimism amongst the Nashville players. They've got a target man to aim for in the middle. They've got purpose. And now it's San Antonio on the back foot. And they've brought the extra striker on. So they've got Baloney, Smith, or Bailoney rather, Smith, Pirano, and Adeniran. It's 4 strikers effectively. It leaves them a little bit light in midfield since David Luera came off. And they're paying the price. They're just unable to get hold of the ball.
Nashville still just 1 shot on target, however. 10 shots total, only 1 has troubled Jordan Farr. On the other end, 5 saves made by Elliot Panico. To the end line, it's Pico in front toward Bunbury. It slips through, and Camardi Smith able to get it clear. No, off the back of a Nunga. Settled down by Shannon Gomez. Pocket of space for Christian Pirano. Bailoney didn't know if it was coming left shoulder or right. Squares it back toward where it came from in Pirano.
He was very good in the spaces, Pirano, against Phoenix Rising. Absolutely brilliant. He loves that. He turns on the halfway line and then he runs at the defense in that space. They don't know whether the sort of central defenders don't know whether to come out and go for him or not. The moment they do, he looks to slip in Bailoney or Kamani Smith, and he caused a lot of problems for Phoenix Rising from that sort of space between the lines position that he loves to occupy.
Speaking of Phoenix Rising, they're about to kick things off. Pardon me, they were an earlier kickoff against New Mexico. They're down 1-0 at the half. Now coming up at the 10 p.m. Eastern hour. A few more matches set. Las Vegas Lights hosting Real Salt Lake. Sacramento Republic hosting the Oakland Roots. Seattle Sounders hosting San Diego Loyal. It's 1-0 New Mexico at halftime hosting Phoenix Rising. It's 1-1 at halftime between Colorado Rapids and Northern Colorado Hailstorm. It's an MLS team against the USL League One team. First versus third division there. Nearing the final whistle. Birmingham Legion of USL Championship tied at 1 with Chattanooga FC of NISA, third division side. Closing moments of extra time. It's 1-1 between Miami FC and Inter Miami CF. And the closing moments of extra time elsewhere. Memphis 901 have come back to take a 2-1 lead on Atlanta United with just a few minutes to go. Could be a cup set brewing there. We haven't seen one at all tonight. Maybe that's the first. FC Cincinnati took care of Louisville City. Loudoun United took care of Flower City Union. Columbus Crew beat Indy 11 1-0. DC United beat the Richmond Kickers 1-0. That was an interesting matchup historically. Those teams won back-to-back U.S. Open Cup titles. Richmond 1995, DC United 1996. Here we are, a couple of decades later, paths intertwined again. 16 matches in all tonight. This one here still scoreless at Geodis Park with Gary Bailey. I'm Joe Malfa, happy to have had you along this evening. Just 20 minutes to play at least. Perhaps extra time in the cards tonight. Fafa Pico hoping to change that, but he's dispossessed cleanly. Well done essentially by Ja'Cory Hayes, who's had a good, quiet, steady presence, winning balls in the midfield tonight for San Antonio.
You can see how this game is getting stretched now. There's players at both ends of the pitch, and it's just oh, trouble.
Pico takes it away. Fafa Pico plays across. Zubak! The hero last year does it again. Ethan Zubak makes it 1-0 to Nashville.
That's just a high press that's got a fantastic reward for Nashville. It should have been dealt with. But Fafa Pico, absolutely brilliant there, just steals the ball, and it's the simplest of goals for Ethan Zubak, and does it again as he did in the Cup last year. And he's in the right spot to finish that one off, but Shannon Gomez has got to deal with that, and Pico does brilliantly to take it off his toes, set up Ethan Zubak, and now they have that 1-0 lead, and the high press that we thought would work for San Antonio happens to work for Nashville instead.
Last year, round of 32, right here, a home game for Nashville, their first in Open Cup at Geodis Park. It was Zubak in extra time after CJ Sapong had tied it 2-2 in second half stoppage time. Zubak came out in extra time and scored the winner in their 3-2 victory. And he may yet be the hero again at Geodis Park just a year later and a round earlier.
Well, it was getting stretched. We were just saying it was going from end to end. It was like two boxers just having a punching slugfest. And in the end, it's just an error. Shannon Gomez just taking too long to deal with that. But to be fair to Pico, he was quick to pounce and take the ball off his toe. Now the question is, can San Antonio create a chance and get themselves back level before the end of this 90 minutes?
Ethan Zubak talked to media ahead of this game. Look out here, Adinarin barreling through, but Panico is there. Zubak said he was excited for this opportunity. It was again a chance for him to show his potential worth to the club. Only 2 appearances so far in this MLS season. And in his career, 49 appearances, 19 starts, 3 goals at the MLS level. He's been such a tweener for so long between USL Championship and MLS. He spent 7 years in the LA Galaxy organization, up and down between the first and second team. 105 USL Championship appearances with 27 goals for Ethan Zubak. We know he could do it against USL Championship teams, and he did it again, this time just in the Open Cup.
Well, he's got to say a big thank you to Fafa Pico, because he made it all happen as that ball gets whipped in there. And to your point, he's only played 9 minutes this season for Gary Smith. One minute against Montreal, 8 minutes against NYCFC. So this was his big chance, and look, it wasn't the most difficult of finishes, but you have to be in the right place to tuck it away. But nonetheless, Fafa Pico, he makes it happen. He steals the ball in a dangerous area and puts it right on the toes for Ethan Zubak to take the glory.
That'll be all tonight for Camarnie Smith. In comes Jorge Hernandez, 22-year-old. The concern is also on Zico Bailey, who's down holding his right leg. Jorge Hernandez scored 12 goals in the 2021 season with LA Galaxy 2 before transferring abroad to Belgium. Now acquired by San Antonio as of a week ago.
Let's just have a look and see how the injury occurred. Just gets his ankles tangled up there with the goal scorer, Ethan Zubak. He seems to be okay, back on his feet now. Time running out, 15 minutes left. Expect a lot more direct football. Not that it hasn't been direct from San Antonio, but ball's into the box now.
Flicked on by Batista. The offside flag came up. Apologies being exchanged between Lawrence White and Elliot Panico, who collided. Bailed out by that offside flag. Just got a goal in the Miami Classico, 116th minute. Miami FC took a 2-1 lead over Inter Miami CF. Doesn't look like Zico Bailey will be able to continue. In comes Carter Manley. We'll make those 2 changes now.
Just thinking for Inter Miami, that's another big blow to them, and their season's already struggling. That's another cup shock if that result holds.
Could be two happening almost simultaneously of USL championship teams beating MLS teams. It's 120 into stoppage time now. Memphis 901 ahead 2-1 against Atlanta. And in the 118th minute, 2-1 Miami FC over Inter Miami. San Antonio hopes to join that party of USL championship teams taking down MLS teams tonight, but they have some work to do. And they make their last couple of subs, hoping to spark some change.
Well, they were 1-0 down to Club de Lyon in the previous round of the Cup and came back to win 2-1. They're 1-0 down in their last match against Phoenix and came back to 1-1. So they know how to do it. The only question is, can they do it against a team as good as Nashville?
And can they hold on without making it 2-0 to Nashville?
Well, in Cup football, you've got to take that risk. Whether you go out 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, the record books just show you got out at the end of the day. Doesn't make any difference. You've got to go for it at some stage, and that stage is fast approaching now for San Antonio. Of course, the opposite for Nashville. They'll just take their time over set pieces and try and control the ball, slow the pace of the game down, and just leave with a 1-0 win. That's good enough for them to go into the hat for the next round.
And this is so far going exactly to form, as what Gary Smith told us in our chat ahead of this game. More on that in a second, as it's brought forward now by Washington and headed away, pardon me, by Hackinson down that right side. Now out to Washington on the left side. Here's Pico. Manley commits the foul. Gary Smith knew that San Antonio would hang tough, and it would be, as you mentioned before, Gary, a slugfest just with the physical play. But eventually he felt a mistake could be made by San Antonio. Quality would shine through from Nashville. They bring on Pico. They bring on Bunbury. Zubac is right place, right time for the pass from Pico. And that's made all the difference so far. Just as Gary Smith said, eventually, over 90 minutes, the quality gap between Nashville and San Antonio would shine through. And that has been the case so far. Not out of the woods yet. Getting close to it. And after a short free kick, they'll do it again, this time from closer, with a yellow card issued.
That's clever play, winning another free kick, eating more time off the clock. Dan Lovitt's doing really well on that left-hand side there, just tempting the foul. Have a look here as he goes. He gets past the defender there, the man who's just come on, Jorge Hernandez. Didn't take him long to get a yellow card, Hernandez.
Came on for Kamani Smith, who had one. Another set piece for Nashville. Dropped in, top of the box, top of the six, I should say. Anunga, and his shot blocked. Sent right back in to the traffic. Just wave after wave of attempt right now from Nashville, and none of them made it through to Jordan Farr. They only have 2 shots on target tonight. Floated out toward the back post. That curl back into play. Yes, it'll be a goal kick.
Just going back 10-15 minutes when Teal Bunbury came on, and you pointed it out, everything seemed to change then, because they had someone that they could win the ball in the air, a target. They got the ball wide, they whipped it in. Suddenly there was a focal point. It's not to say that Ethan Zubac can't be a striker, but he's not a big number 9 type striker. From the moment Bunbury came on, there just seemed to be greater understanding and purpose from Nashville as to what they had to do to win this match, and they have been on the front foot ever since, and they have really pounded San Antonio from both sides of the pitch, left and right. And now you can see the gap, but up until that moment, I think San Antonio have been as good as Nashville.
There's Batista, final 10 minutes now of the 90. That ball stayed in. Adeniran got there and saved it. Now Pirano. Maloney's been sent further up the field now, as they're in search of this goal. Pico helping back defensively, and skied out of play. More changes now. Shaq Moore and Joey Desart all ready to check in. Shaq Moore played at the World Cup in the United States just a few months ago. Comes on for Luke Atkinson. And Ethan Zubak will be lifted for Joey Desart. Joey Desart is a defensive midfielder by trade, so curious how this changes the shape perhaps for Nashville if they're going full defensive shape now.
They still do have options up front, of course, with Bunbury and with Fafa Pico. But you're right, they're probably just going to just try and contain San Antonio and then pick them off on the counter-attack if they can.
Gomez. Nobody there on the back end for San Antonio. Panico will kill some time before he picks it up. The 2023 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup continues with more exciting twists and turns with the round of 32 on May 9th and 10th. Tonight's winners will learn their round of 32 opponent tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern live on the BR app or BR Football's YouTube channel.
Well, that'll be an exciting game coming up for Nashville if this result holds. We've also got in the MLS Atlanta United at home, Chicago Fire at home. They've got a match away against DC United, then Inter Miami at home. So 3 from the next 4 at home. So they've been under a little bit of pressure, no wins in 3. This gives them a win. It just takes that pressure off. You get a couple of home games, maybe good results. And to be fair, the draw against LAFC is not a bad draw anyway. The match, the loss at NYCFC, Gary Smith felt they just weren't quite effective enough, especially in terms of creating chances. And the same with the 0-0 draw at home to Toronto. So maybe this just gives them a little bit of a lift if the result holds, of course.
The result held for Memphis. They complete the cup set over Atlanta. Not the same for Miami FC. In the 119th minute, after going down 2-1 in the 116th minute, Inter Miami CF tied it at 2. They're headed to the penalties.
Wow. What a game. Oh, Alan Marcino's got to be proud of his team. Proud of the fact, of course, they're champions of the USL, but the effort they put up here today.
Pico airs it out.
It's just a pity for them that the goal they concede is from an error. You know, you'd like it to be a worldie in the top corner so you can leave Geodis Park and say, hey, nothing we could do with the goal. But I'm sure Shannon Gomez will look back at that and say, wish I'd have got a shout, or wish I'd have been a little bit sharper. And if it was 0-0, they've been with a great shout, obviously, San Antonio. Not finished yet, but the clock is ticking down very quickly now.
And somehow that's just how it goes when it's a USL championship team against an MLS team. Sometimes, I should say, rather than somehow. Last year in the final, Sacramento Republic held on for so long against Orlando, and the first goal was from an error playing out of the back by Sacramento. From there, they opened up, and Orlando City put in a couple of more. But it started similarly to how San Antonio was undone tonight. Up over 5,000 tonight for Nashville. Good support on a Wednesday night here at Geodis Park. They have really taken to this team over the last couple of years. Ever since their opening days at Nissan Stadium, the home of the Tennessee Titans at the time, sharing the venue before Geodis Park opened last year. Just this weekend, over 30,000 in attendance for their match against LAFC. Here's Fafa Pico. Can he get there? Manley plays it all the way back for Jordan Farr.
I think there's a number of positives to take away from this for Gary Small. It was a late tackle there, a little shoulder. Might have caused some damage. You can see the San Antonio players are not happy about that. Gary Smith helps Batista up to his feet. I was going to say that looks like it was Bunbury comes in late. Look, as he passes the ball here, there's an elbow up as well. That's a little bit naughty. Let's just hope that wasn't meant. But for Gary Smith, look at the goalkeeper, Elliot Panico, and say what a good game he had. And if ever they have any problems with Joe Willis, and they have an able deputy that the coach, I'm sure, will feel very confident of, given tonight's performance.
And they're not home free still. Just quite yet, Nashville. 3 minutes to go of the 90 plus whatever stoppage time has in store. It's still only a 1-goal game, and now a set piece after a careless foul by Nashville. There's some magic in this for San Antonio. Hernandez curls it back post. Panico is there. He's been so secure and sure of himself every cross that's come his way tonight.
Top-class performance, as I was saying. One of the highlights for Gary Smith. Not just the saves, but as you said, the crosses, the ability to come and dominate. And that's a tricky cross. If the keeper doesn't come, that gets headed back in, possibly by Bialoni there. And instead, keeper comes, kills the moment, kills the sort of opportunity for San Antonio, and allows Nashville to push forward and put the San Antonio defense under pressure, which they do reasonably well until the free kick's given.
It's Pico pressuring, and remember, he was the one who, on a similar play, is able to win the ball and spark the goal for Nashville. Now he sparks a yellow card after initiating that fracas.
Just look at it and think, you won the lump, Pico. Just relax, smile, get on with it. Don't get too involved, but give him credit. He's the one who created the goal through that sort of hustling. Just you need to get away from the player once the free kick's given. You can't then stand over him for too long. That's a bit of a threatening position. He gets a few shoves for his trouble, but give him credit for coming on and making the difference. You've got to love his attitude if you're a fan or you're a coach. Just got to maybe whisper in his ear to avoid the yellow cards, though.
Morano. Barely kept in by Hernandez. Hernandez. Panico tried to keep it in play, but he couldn't. It's out for a corner. '90th minute at Geodis Park, a corner for San Antonio. It's their 4th of the night. They're down a goal. Served in by Hernandez, punched away by Panico. Maloney tried to volley it right back where it came from. Instead, it sliced out to the corner and out for a goal kick.
Well, if you had to pick a man of the match, you wouldn't go far wrong than Elliot Panico, to be fair. We just keep talking about him, but at this stage of the game, he's coming for the crosses, he's winning the punches. You know, yes, Ethan Zubak will get the credit for scoring the crucial goal, and you might even turn to Pico and say, well, he set it up, but the goalkeeper's made crucial saves, and he's really kept the pressure down against a team who's renowned for putting you under pressure with high balls. The keeper's come and taken them time and time again.
Three minutes added to the end of this one. It's been a pretty straightforward half without much stoppage. Low number, but the correct one. The flow to the second half. Has to come for San Antonio now. Send the players forward. To the point you made a little while ago, it doesn't matter if you lose this 2-0, 3-0. There's no goal differential here. Just have to score one, keep yourself alive. Otherwise, that's it. They advanced one round further last year, San Antonio, after in this round last year, they upset Austin. Fell in the following match against Houston. 1-3 all time against MLS opponents. San Antonio in danger of falling to 1-4. Here's Anunga striding through the middle.
Good play from Anunga, wins the corner, He did have an option there to pass to Pico, but maybe just couldn't quite find him and couldn't get his balance, but he gets the corner. That just eats that clock down, and as you can see, there's no major rush from Nashville players to get across there. And all they want to do now for the remaining 2 minutes is just keep the ball in the corner, knock it around, do all the professional things that don't look good, but they're effective.
Just like that.
Yep, that's what you got to do.
Except the foul is called against Nashville, so they will give the possession back. Jordan Farr sends it long. All the way back down the other end.
This is basically it, you would think. Probably the last chance for San Antonio. Long, long ball. He's going to go all the way, Jordan Farr. Keep going.
Until somebody comes to him, why not?
You've got to win the header, San Antonio, if you want to score.
Now Papa Pico trying to chip Jordan Farr. He was back in time, but this also serves the purpose of taking some time off the clock. And here comes Jordan Farr again. Hernandez. Can they get one more ball into the box? Test Panico one more time with 20 seconds remaining. All eyes will soon be on Sergio Demianchuk to see when that whistle will blow. Teal Bunbury holds up the play on Garcia. Don't know if San Antonio will have enough time now to get it the other end. Shaq Moore. There's the final whistle. Nashville took all they could handle for quite some time from San Antonio. But in the 71st minute, Ethan Zubak proved to be the hero yet again for the second year in a row. And Nashville is through to the round of 32.
Yeah, huge credit to San Antonio. You can see how many of their players fell to the ground. There's the goal scorer. He'll take the glory. As I say, I think he deserves to go and give Fafa Pico a big hug for the turnover ball and setting the goal up for him. But San Antonio, great battle. So tough that they go out for what is probably going to be seen as a little bit of a defensive lapse. But they really got stuck in. They caused some problems. They tested Elliot Panico. They tested him in the air, on the ground. Goalkeeper came up strong. But in the end, a decent cup game, a real battle, and great respect from both sides and managers. And well done to Nashville. They go through to the next round. Unlucky San Antonio.
Take a look at the highlights from this one. Geodis Park over 5,000 strong. Able to witness a victory for Nashville, but it wasn't easy, and there were chances galore the first half for San Antonio.
Yeah, Bailoni with the win here. Koreniak gets a shot. Keeper makes the first save, and then he makes a second one from Bailoni. Elliot Panico, crucial. If that goes in, clearly a different game, because they would have been on the front foot with San Antonio. This one, a shot comes in, gets deflected. Jordan Farr just scampering across the goal to make sure it doesn't sneak in. And then Zico Bailey's going to have an effort here. And it turns, as you said, it almost turned a corner, and Elliot Panico had to come back. He had gone to his left, he had to come back to his right to make that save. But then slowly, Nashville got more and more into the game, especially when Teal Bunbury came on. There's the little pickpocket moment from Fafa Pico, sets it up for what was really a tap-in for the goal scorer Ethan Zubak. Well done to Fafa Pico for making it all happen. That was a crucial moment in this game.
Zubak did not wait as long as he did last year in the round against Atlanta. Did so in the 93rd minute into extra time. This time in the 71st to get the winner. And statistically, it was an even affair. San Antonio had opportunities, but Nashville's quality shines through in the end.
Yeah, look, it looks with shots on target that San Antonio were the more dangerous, but there were a lot of chances for Nashville that weren't necessarily shots on target, but balls that were in and around the box. And I think you're quite right. It was just that one little moment of real quality from Fafa Pico. And the fact when Teal Bunbury came on, he made a massive difference. There was a focal point to the attacks, and from that moment onwards, Nashville looked like they were in control.
San Antonio gave it a good run, but it's Nashville SC on to the round of 32 here in the 2023 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Geodis Park served as the host yet again. It's a terrific venue in Major League Soccer, over 5,000 strong, watching Nashville advance through. And that does it for us tonight from Nashville. my broadcast partner Gary Bailey, and the crew that makes this possible. I'm Joe Malvasane. Good night from Geodis Park. Nashville SC through to the round of 32 in the 2023 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Good night, everybody.